1.2 billion independent media owners. As they're all linked to each other, they are incredibly influential. 78% of the consumers say that they trust peer power, recommendations on social media, and only 18% trust advertising. Scary, isn't it? This influence is not really stopping at each social network's boundaries, but it is infecting the entire web. It is important to reflect this for a moment, because it's easy to say, yeah, I know that, but this is leading to a complete change in how society functions. And all of this new societal activity is, of course, incredibly mobile. 1 in 4 of the developed world owns a smartphone. 1 in 3 accesses the internet via the phone, and this is increasing dramatically. In fact, the next billion people to come online will be via the mobile devices. Social access via a smartphone is leading to a quickening in the speed at which information and therefore influence is moving. Now that's changing society. That, in fact, is changing history. And now is time for the social network epoch. This is where things are going to start to get really interesting for us as people and for us as an industry. Now, to understand this better, we need to try and paint a picture of how the world will be 5 years from today, or rather 4, because we're already in 2012, in fact. Now, let's start by exploring what sort of technology is likely to emerge. To do that, we need to understand what is driving the human evolution. We used to think that the fundamental driver for that human evolution is technology, but now we know that we are wrong. In fact, the true driver is us. Us as in humanity. Technology is simply the one that enables that change. And you can sense this if you lay out the different technological epochs. If we look at these different epochs, it suggests that the evolutionary drive is that of liberating ourselves from physical and time-based constraints. Now, if we project forward, this suggests that the ultimate endpoint will be that, a state of ambulance, where we will be able to be everywhere with everyone and everything in the moment. So let's take a look at the technologies that should gain traction based on that paradigm of abundance and where it drives us. These technologies fall into 3 main categories: infrastructure, interface, and of course, internet. Let's start with infrastructure. The average internet speed today is approximately 5 Ms. However, speeds are set to dramatically increase with the increasing investment that is being made on FTTH, the fiber to the home. The global consensus is that FTTH is the broadband technology for the future, and it will offer speeds for up to 1 giga. This will further fuel the movement to the cloud, of course, where individuals and organizations offset storage and computation. By 2016, the cloud will be the unconsidered default for working and storage. Our devices will be simply looking glasses to the same content up in the cloud. However, although changes in infrastructure are important, they do not offer us the same observable level of progression that we will see in the developments to interface, which is the second area that we need to look at to understand what's going on. The main changes we will see in interface will be within our own personal screen technologies, namely television and mobile devices. By 2016, we will see the emergence of OLEDs, the organic light emitting diode, which will enable screens to be on paper-thin material. We will also be moving into Ultra HD, which we will have an 8,000 vertical line resolution. Currently, that resolution stands slightly above 1,000. The intriguing thing about ultra-high definition will be that depending on the angle you're looking at it, it will exceed the resolution of the human eye. Quite amazing. By 2016, Mainstream audiences will be increasingly more likely to buy a connected TV. Although for most markets, linear TV will still dominate the viewing time, we are likely to see younger demographics spending an increasing amount of time outside of the linear stream. The main driver for that will be social. According to a recent study carried out by Yahoo, 28% of people are already demanding to be able to watch TV with the social networks. In fact, 1/3 of smartphone owners are using their phones while watching TV. Viewers will adopt new multi-screen behaviors. They will connect to a social group while watching a program. They will influence the content, and they will actually be the participants in live linear broadcast TV shows. By 2016, 5 years from today, an increasing amount of sets will have NUI, natural user interface technology embedded. These screens will allow users to interact with the ad break with voice and gesture, and choose which ads to watch. Now, the real benefit of this will be facial recognition. This will enable the ad break to be tailor-made to the individual and not just the household. After 2016 and towards 2020, we will also continue to see a blurring between the ad break and the content, fueled by the inevitable increase in the percentage of programming content that is IP served. In fact, based on a PwC study, by 2016, smartphone penetration will be 60%, and tablet close to 50%. That's quite huge, in fact. By 2016, more than 70% of the developed world people will own a smart device, compared to only 25% today. So thinking about the two previous presentations, you can imagine what that will do. And these devices, 3 to 4 times more powerful than what we have today, will empower additional technologies. There are many, but I just want to share with you a few. First, it's all about the organic light emitting diode technology, or OLED, which will change what we can do with our devices. OLED screens offer 60 times more color variation and only 25% power consumption than the current devices, and they can come on flexible and transparent screens. Beyond 2016, this is likely to be used in conjunction with a new substance called graphene. Touted as a miracle material of the 21st century, graphene will be the strongest material ever measured, an improvement upon and a replacement for silicon, and the most conductive material known to man. Its properties have sent the science world into a spin. It will ultimately allow for smart devices to be rolled up into a tube and in your pocket. We will have advanced voice recognition. In fact, Google's voice search has a computation carried out in the cloud. Its algorithm is actually learning as we go along. Its improvement will be exponential by 2016, and by then, we will have a powerful technology that allows us to interface with the cloud more efficiently. We will have the VPAs. By 2016, any interest in voice search will be superseded by a focus on predictive computation algorithms that enable us to engage with our devices in a way that is very natural to us. Our devices will understand what we need and will serve up the right information and, crucially, connect us to the world. They will function like personal assistants, frankly. And, of course, AR. Already here, augmented reality enables the smartphone user to fire up their camera, hold their phone up, and see an internet-based information layer over the top. By 2016, early facial recognition software will be in place. For opted-in users, we will be able to hold up a phone and pattern recognize their face. Even more outlandish is the idea of internet-enabled contact lenses. In 2009, the University of Washington embedded nanoscale electrical circuits and LEDs into contact lenses. The electrical circuits did not obscure the view of the wearer, and images appeared 1 meter away floating in front of that person. But before then, some companies believe that cameras will be used to take constant film of our activities so that our social networks can see what we're doing 24/7. Imagine that. Developers at Zion Eyes in Seattle are working on Eyes, which is a pair of glasses with a tiny embedded video camera that can continuously record everything you see, transmitting it wirelessly to social media sites for everybody to see. We will have what was actually mentioned in the previous presentation, the NFCs. In fact, NFC is going to be the game changer and will do more to revolutionize communications over the next 5 years than anything else. NFC is a subset, just to clarify, of radio frequency identification. But while the radio frequency identification works over distances of more than a kilometer, the NFC only works in distances of up to 10 centimeters. Now, currently, the most widespread use for that is travel and contactless payment in the form of card or credit cards and so on. But imagine how NFC-enabled phones can be the big opportunity for the future. This will result in some seismic shifts in business, with handset manufacturers, telcos, banks, web-based businesses fighting it out or making partnerships. Google announced its NFC payment system called Google Wallet in May 2011 as a partnership with Sprint, Citi, and MasterCard. And of course, there is additional value to be had, as you can imagine, by marrying up purchase data and browsing data. Just imagine that. However, these technologies will make our devices even more power hungry. But new screen technologies will be more battery efficient, so we will typically see smartphones lasting about 2 to 3 days in between charges. To this, we will also benefit from wireless power. Called e-coupling, the technology was developed by MIT and first demonstrated at the Consumer Electronics Show, again back in 2009. It uses two technologies, radio waves and magnetic waves, to broadcast power. This will result in the end of wires for most of our products. Imagine that. Clearly, the developments in infrastructure and interface, as we've seen so far, will have an observable effect on our lives, and they will influence the communications industry. But the next 5 years, we will begin to see advancements happening in the more ethereal area of the internet and how it works. And that's the third aspect of the technology business. The first part of this is the socialization of the internet. Facebook's Open Graph has already started the significant process of connecting the entire web to Facebook and understanding users and their friends. Heralded by some as the moment from links to likes, this new movement provides an added layer of data to help Google improve the quality of their search results. Forrester has termed the next few years as the great race to relevancy. This new social data, combined with clear content marking, will be interrogated by powerful new algorithms to do the job. There will be a movement from link-based to answers that are algorithmically based, tough word to pronounce, where search engines will actually compute the right answer. By 2016, we will be approaching a point where Google can give direct and accurate answers to questions like, what's the favorite to win the Super Bowl? Or what black suits are on sale in Zara? From here, something absolutely magical will start to happen. From here, the internet will be waking up, because beyond 2016, the algorithm will improve to the point where it can answer questions that are more nuanced and geo and time-based. At this point, the internet will become an intelligence that will make its current state seem incredibly dumb and disorganized. We won't know how we lived without it. And of course, we'll have social commerce. Social will further change how we shop. We have seen an influence of social with group buying sites such as Groupon and Facebook. We all know that. And a new form of collaboration will emerge. It will be about social gaming, mentioned again before. This level of intelligence will make home gaming an even more immersive and addictive experience, providing people with a level of flow and satisfaction that cannot be found in the real world. The deeply connected social network will allow for the emergence of what is being termed as gamification. Gartner predicts that 50% of the companies that manage innovation and research will use some form of game logic to motivate people's involvement and contribution. So we haven't learned from it, it's time to start. Okay, so let's try and bring all these changes together. Try to hold in your mind the force of this collective intellect. Real internet intelligence combined with technologies that we will have in our devices and the new infrastructure or FTTH, 4G, the cloud, and you can start seeing the world that we are moving into. Each advancement has the effect on the other, and the combination of all of these will have an exponential effect on society and how it changes. It will result in a way of life where technology enables us to deeply access the world in the moment. A world that is synchronistic, a world that seems to know what we want before we want it, a world where we are never alone, where we always feel connected to our social networks as events unfold in the moment, a world that is increasing, fun and absorbing, where we can achieve great things and, as mentioned, occasionally perhaps get a free lunch. The question is how this new landscape will change the way we work and we play. What changes can we expect to see in people and in society, which to me is extremely important. So let's step into a typical developed society in 2016. By 2016, pretty much everyone you know will have a smartphone, a smart device. From a distance, they will look similar to today, apart from the slide out and from the translucent screens. An increasing amount of people will be seen holding these devices to their mouth and not to their ears, as they will simply use their voices to control the devices. We will begin to treat our devices like personal assistants. We will speak naturally into them to book restaurants, flights, or even find out specific pieces of information. All of the computation will be done up in the cloud, and every single engagement will improve the overall algorithm for everybody to benefit. These will be observable activities, but the most striking difference is that 2016 will be the world of the tap. People will be seen constantly tapping their devices against payment pads to make micropayments and against shop windows to check in or check out. The most defining difference, perhaps, will be that people will be looking through their devices. That'll be the looking glass. Many people will be holding them in front of their vision to augment their surroundings. This will be a common sight in the street, in shopping malls, in front of outdoor ads for the traditional media, and in cinemas. An increasing amount of purchases will be made after a device had been held over the product to see a summary of user reviews or even brand sentiments on the spot. Youth audiences will amuse the older generation by holding phones in front of their friends' faces to gain access to their social graph. A large percentage of youth will abandon any concerns of data privacy as the desire to be witnessed will be overwhelming. They will be further incentivized by the additional benefits that they receive, such as micropayments, tailored content, pay well access, free Wi-Fi, and of course, the kudos of belonging to well-branded groups. These super socializers will allow more of their activities to be witnessed by their social networks. Some people will set up closer knit groups for a sort of a VIP access to what they are doing. The oversharers of 2016 will broadcast their lives in real time from small embedded HD video cameras built within the eyewear, with their social networks editing and commenting as the streaming happens live. For those that choose to afford state-of-the-art, their homes will have Ultra HD OLED screens the size of an entire wall, and users will toggle between a map view and a Skype-based view which will almost feel like you are joining your room up with someone else's. With all this, we will see social contagion. This will be the era of the accepted power of the social network to affect businesses, organizations, and governments. As smartphone penetration ramps up, the networks will become more real-based. With this, the power of their influence will increase, along with the ability to build or take down brands. Ladies and gentlemen, this new world is only a few years away, and it is heading towards us at an unrelenting speed. The final part of our journey today is to consider what our industry will be like. By 2016, our industry will largely be considered as much a technology industry as it is considered a creative industry. Very well put by Roy. The Communications Agency of 2016 will be increasingly considered to be a digital-based agency first and foremost. And in many of the developed markets, communications agencies will also consider themselves to be data companies. As they do today, teams will bid for data and then bid again for impressions to reach them. They will carry out this within a more evolved form of the audience management platforms, the AMPs. AMPs will be complete ad management software platforms that will merge real-time bidding software with data management dashboards. Incorporated into this will be sophisticated creative versioning technology, so that various combinations of creative can be served and optimized in real time. AMPs will be the night vision goggles for the planners and the strategists. SEO and social media investment will gradually make their way into these AMPs, which will start to give agencies and their clients an unprecedented level of visibility and control. Creative agencies will still produce the core advertising ideas, but the execution management will begin to be shaped by the communication agencies. They will control the software that optimizes which combination of assets, headlines, copy lines, images will run against which audience, at what time of day and where. The focus will be to automate everything. Everything that can be automated, and then to upscale that offering. The maxim of the day by 2016 will be ANU, automate and upscale. Upscale offerings will come in many areas, such as enhanced audience understanding through to the application of the social sciences to identify how best to influence. So, for the last part of this journey, let's bring it all together and try to see the future. The unrelenting change that we have seen over the last decade has resulted in transformations to our world and our industry that we would have been hard-pressed to have foreseen. The next 5 years will see similar change. It is the nature of an exponential growth curve of technological development that we will see as much change in the next 5 years as we have seen in the last 10. This technological development will enable us as people to move one step further to our journey for ambulance, where we will be able to be everywhere with everyone and everything in the moment. With this paradigm, we can access the technology and the technologies that are likely to gain traction over the next 5 years, technologies that are distributed across infrastructure, interface, and the internet. Successful developments in these will be those that liberate and empower people. People will have more access to the world of information. They will also have more information on the world of their social networks. Our social graphs will shape our worlds in real time. We will be individuals, but we will also be very powerful networks. This will present some incredible opportunities for advertisers and their agencies. By 2016, media agencies will be a greater factor for marketing success. And by 2016, marketing will be a greater factor of business success. So, ladies and gentlemen, as the rate of change dramatically increases with exponential speed, the new world for all of us will be extremely real. It will change our society. It will change us as individuals as we move beyond the horizon. Change will never be this slow again. Please do enjoy the video that is following. Thank you. In case you're wondering, that's the book. You can actually get it on eBay and Amazon. Actually Amazon, not eBay. Duh. And all the proceeds go to UNICEF globally.
Thank you, Andreas. One more round of applause, please. Well, we have a lot to think about at this point in time. It looked a bit scary to me at times, but then I saw that the future was full of beautiful people. So I'm wondering what's going to happen to ugly people like me. But anyway, yeah. Great stuff, man. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will take a short 15-minute break and we will reconvene in the same hall. There's refreshments outside, and I'll see you shortly. Thank you again.